Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Adam Chris bin Ahmad Ashli. Today we would like to talk about tax audit. So what is tax audit? Tax audit is when LHDNM checks the taxpayer records to make sure the income is reported is correct, the right amount of tax has been paid, and the rules and laws are being followed. Second, it can involve checking business or personal income, expenses and tax claim, payroll records for employers, withholding tax payment, and other related documents. Tax audit by LHDNM. So firstly, I would like to talk about objectives, second activities, and finally review methods. What is the objectives of tax audit? So the main reason is to encourage voluntary compliance with tax laws and regulations in line with the implementation of the self-assessment system. Second, AES, to create awareness, provide education, and offer services to taxpayers or employers regarding their rights and responsibilities under current tax law. Lastly, to ensure that income is accurately reported and taxes are paid correctly, helping to prevent countries' revenue leakage. There are 5 audit activities. The first one is income tax audit. It reviews of all categories of taxpayers, including companies and individuals. Second one, withholding tax audit. Examination to ensure withholding tax has been deducted correctly and remitted. Third one, capital gain tax audit. Effective from 1 January 2024, it focuses on shares, asset disposal, and related expenses. Fourth one, Labuan business activity audit. Assessment of whether the activities meet Labuan legal requirements. The last one, employer audit. Checks on monthly tax deductions, CP38 compliance, and payroll records. Finally, there are 2 types of audit review methods. First one is desk audit. It is done at LHDN office. It involves checking documents, income, expenses, and claim from tax return. For withholding tax, it involves reviewing payment document submitted. It checks payrolls, records, and employee info for employer audits. If the case is more complex, it upgraded to comprehensive review or field audit. So field audit is interview at taxpayer business location, LHDN office, or any agreed place. It checks documents such as expenses and income records, eligibility tax incentives, and withholding tax payments. If proprietor and partnership don't keep records, LHDN may check personal bank statements, asset list, and other related documents.
Okay, next I will continue about implementation of tax audit. Tax audit has 6 steps. First step is initial action. The audit is conducted into 2 main forms: general review and comprehensive review. A general review may involve requesting document by letter, while comprehensive review may involve in audit visit to the taxpayer premise. In both methods, the taxpayer must provide a response within 14 days. If documents are not submitted, the audit will still be conducted using the existing information, and additional assessment may be imposed to the taxpayer. Next is audit visit. Audit visit only for a comprehensive review, and audit visit will be announced in advance. The audit officer will review the document access system and may interview the company staff. The visit may be conducted at the taxpayer premise or at the Inland Revenue Board Malaysia office. Third process is audit visit duration. The visit usually take within 1 until 3 days, or maybe more if having some issues like the complexity of the business. Fourth is record review and asset inspection. The officer can review all information about financial statement, payroll, bank statement, and business asset. Failure to maintain and complete the record is an offence under the law. Fifth is tax audit findings. The taxpayer may be called or can visit LHDNM to discuss about the audit. A letter will be given with the audit issues and reason. The taxpayer can respond or object within 18 days. If no objection, The audit results are final and the tax notice will be issued. Last but not least is employer audit findings. Employer will receive an audit result as compliant, non-compliant, not eligible for PCB. Non-compliant case include compound details, and the employer can object within 18 days with proof. If there is no objection, the results are final and compound must be paid by the employer.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Zulhilmi. I will continue to explain about the last step, which is audit settlement. Audit settlement is a discussion about audit finding issue between taxpayer and Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia. The total income adjustment, tax and penalties following assessment years involved will be informed by surat penyelesaian kes. If no issue are found and no adjustment are made, surat penyelesaian kes tanpa pelarasan pendapatan will be issued. The following is the audit settlement period according by two review methods. For general review, it will start from the date of letter requesting document and information sent to the taxpayer. And the comprehensive income contains two methods. First, by visiting to taxpayer premise, it will start during the first day of audit visit. Second, by reviewing in IRBM's office, we start from date of issuance letter that determine the start of the case resolution period. Tax audit cases must be completed within the following period starting from the date the audit was initiated. For example, tax audit must be completed within 90 days. Besides finance and insurance, the business such as a lease, factoring, broker must be done within 90 days, while for financial institution and insurance business must be done in 240 days. However, the period does not apply to cases where further verification is required from the relevant parties. Audit cases that have been resolved will not be re-audited for the same year of assessment and issue. However, if there are any issues or new information received for the year of assessment concerned, a re-audit may be conducted. Next is voluntary disclosure. It means that the taxpayer makes a declaration regarding the computation of taxable income after the borang nyata submission deadline in writing via letter or electronic medium to the relevant state operation director or IRBM division director at any time before the audit action begins. This voluntary disclosure is only offered to taxpayer who comply with the borang nyata submission obligation. Voluntary disclosure must be submitted with the following documents such as the copy of income tax form, audited account or income statement, incentive or compliance information, complete of original and amended tax calculation, and complete information document and other relevant information. Taxpayer or employers who fail to submit the completed documents and information without reasonable excuse are deemed to have failed to meet the voluntary declaration requirements, and it will result in their voluntary declaration will not being accepted. If the documents submitted by the taxpayer are incomplete, an audit visit will be made or a letter of inquiry will be issued to the taxpayer, and further review will be made on the additional information obtained from the audit visit or letter of inquiry. That's all from me.
Good day everyone, I'm Nurmazatun Najiha binti Abdurrahim, and today I will be presenting rights and responsibilities of three parties involved in tax audit, which is IRMB audit officers, taxpayer or employer, and registered tax agent. I will be summarizing the most important point to help us better understand the roles, duties, and legal boundaries for each parties. Let's begin with the responsibilities of the IRMB audit officers. Audit officers play a critical role in ensuring fairness during the audit process. They must act professionally with honesty and clearly explain the audit purpose along with the taxpayer's right. They are expected to apply tax law fairly and request only relevant documents. Confidentiality is a must. All taxpayers' information must be protected. Officers are also required to allow taxpayer to respond to any findings. Every officer must show an official ID, and taxpayers are encouraged to verify their identity if in doubt. Importantly, audit officers are prohibited from having personal interest in the case suggesting specific tax agent or abusing their power in any ways. Now, let's move on to the responsibilities of taxpayer and employer during an audit. Taxpayer or employer must cooperate during audits. This includes providing access to business record, allowing the officers to inspect and copy documents, also responding truthfully to the questions. They also must comply with legal notices under the Income Tax Act. However, they are not allowed to offer gift, make payments to the officers, or block the audit process. These actions are considered offense. On the positive side, taxpayers have clear rights. They can appoint a registered tax agent to represent them officially through a letter, and they may also request an interpreter if they are not fluent in Malay or English. Lastly, we look at the role of registered tax agent. Registered tax agent must be approved under Section 153, Subsection 3 of the Income Tax Act. They are responsible for advising client correctly and acting with integrity. They must assist both their client and IRMB, keep all information confidential, and ensure updates are accurate. Tax agent must never give false advice, delay the audit process, and offer bribe or gift to the officers. Violating these responsibilities can lead to revocation of their license. In short, tax agents play a vital role in maintaining professionalism and compliance during the audit.
My name is Muhammad Daniel bin Sharif. My meeting number is 2024-273-212. I would like to present about understatement of tax. What is understatement of tax? If it is discovered after the commencement and audit that there has been an understatement or omission of income. Understatement is normally the result of understanding income, inflating expenses, omitting source of income, and failing to make adjustment for expenses that are allowable expenses. Then a penalty will be imposed under Section 112 of ITA. The penalty rate equal to the amount of the tax undercharged 100% accordingly. We go to this table. It shows the offence for the first time will be penalty at rate 15%. For the second offence will be rate 30%, and for the third and subsequent will be at rate 45%. We go to the next slide. Provision of reasonable facilities and assistance. It's under Section 80 and 81A. The taxpayer obliged to provide reasonable facilities and assistance to the IRBN personnel when they are carried out the field audit in the premise of the taxpayer. It will be held for specific needs such as workplace accommodation, education accommodation, and personal assistance. If the taxpayer fail to do so, they will liable to a fine of Rm1,000 to Rm10,000 or imprisonment for up to 1 year or both. We go to the next slide. Keeping of records is under Section 82(1)(a). Every taxpayer carrying on a business should keep and retain in safe custody sufficient records for as long as 7 years from the end of the year to which the business income or adjusted loss relates to. So it will be held for tax documentation that can avoid penalty or interest charge. If the taxpayer fail to do so, they will be liable to a fine Rm3,000 to Rm10,000 or imprisonment for up to 1 year or both.
That's all from our group. Thank you.